Welcome viewers to History Facts. Concealed in northern Colombia, the Ceredigion coal mineshaft is a crucial piece of the country's economy. All things considered, this pit siphons out an incredible 30 million tons of coal consistently. Yet what many individuals don't understand, however, is that it has likewise ended up being an urgent, verifiable site rich in old fossils that depict a world that existed quite a long time back. During a field excursion to Ceredigion, one nearby college understudies coincidentally found a few stunning relics, including a Titanic-measured old animal that archaeologists didn't know existed. Understudy was on a field excursion to a coal mineshaft when he uncovered indications of a wild old animal. But before we get started, if you're enjoying this video, show us some love by subscribing. It's the best way to support us and never miss out. Let's get started. By all accounts, the specialist office is by all accounts a coal mineshaft like some other. What a great many people don't understand, however, is that underneath Ceredigon's sandy surface lies an obscure old world simply ready to be uncovered. Found only 60 miles from the Caribbean coast in northern Colombia, this region was once a tropical rainforest in ancient times. With a surface region bigger than that of Washington, D.C., there's a lot of land to exhume and express beginning in the quest for verifiable fortunes. Normally, business mining exercises in the space have been the principal driver behind such disclosures. Seeing as the specialist coal mineshaft traverses such a huge region, it shocks no one that different valuable old relics have been uncovered here, especially creature fossils. As a matter of fact, the mining organization itself knew about the area's paleontological wealth after a couple of extraordinary first-hand encounters. Back in 1990, a geologist named Henry Garcia coincidentally found a fossil lying in one of the pits. Uncertain of its character, Garcia called it the froze branch because of its appearance. He has the stone relic in a presentation case at the site office, and soon enough, it was failed to remember that is until one more verifiable specialist acknowledged its importance years after the fact in 2003. Scientist Scott Wing visited the brain where the froze branch grabbed his attention. With his interest, Dr. Wing chose to send a photograph of the fossil to his companion, individual scientist Jonathan Block. After review the photo, Dr. Block was bewildered. It appeared to be a priceless curio had nearly been disregarded completely. As per Dr. Block, this fossil was undeniably something other than a straightforward showcase piece. Truth be told, it was anything but a froze branch by any means, yet rather the fossilized jawbone of an animal. For Binding Herrera, an undergrad understudy at the Modern College of Santander, had visited this Iridian coal mineshaft in 2003. Shockingly, there was an impression from an ancient leaf under. As he kept on turning stones over a similar peculiarity happened. Obviously, Herrera had coincidentally found something significant. Subsequent to distinguishing a pattern, the floored Herrera chose to show the stones to researcher Carlos Jaramillo, who worked for Colombia's oil organization. Obviously energized by this revelation, Dr. Jaramillo chose to call up Dr. Wing and welcome him to go along with he and Herrera on a full campaign to the coal mineshaft in 2003. Little did the group realize then what shocking disclosures looked for them. Throughout the span of 4 months, Herrera and the remainder of the group participated in a broad fossil chase across the Sahel district area. In that time, the exploration team investigated lots of pit mines across the district, gathering north of 2,000 plant examples simultaneously. It was during this very endeavor that Dr. Wing found reality with regards to the froze branch in plain view in the workplace. When Dr. Block had been cautioned and had given his appraisal, the group realized that they were onto something important. As the undertaking reached a conclusion, the exploration group promptly chose to plan one more excursion to Harmony Beginning. It was on this outing that the now 4-man group would find the remaining parts of a genuinely startling animal. At the point when the date of the following endeavor showed up, Dr. Block mentioned to see the froze branch face to face. Tragically, nobody had a key to the showcase case that housed the example. The froze branch was affirmed to be a mandible. After the subsequent campaign had reached a conclusion, more specialists engaged in this continuous task. Furthermore, as they revealed more fossils, these field laborers sent photographs of their disclosures to Dr. Block. It was once they started investigating the open pit and Ceredion's North Zone that the scientists made their greatest leap forward. During this time, further vertebrate fossils were found, a significant number of which had a place with the progenitors of current creatures. In any case, in all honesty, this wasn't even the most stunning find. As the unearthings proceeded, more shipments of fossils were shipped off the U.S. for additional assessment. While the most recent shipment of fossils was named crocodile, a piece of the animal's spine recommended that this was not the situation. Along with colleague and reptile expert Jason Burke, he established that these fossils really have a place with a gigantic snake. With information on this most recent disclosure, Dr. Block reached a previous schoolmate named Jason Head who worked at the College of Toronto. In the wake of looking at comparative fossils from discrete creatures to reason the full degree of these snakes' vertebrae, Dr. Head and his associate were dumbfounded to find that these antiquated animals had been between 42 feet and 49 feet in length, with every one weighing around 2,500 pounds. In general, this frightening new reptile species was named the Tiknava. While the personality of this gigantic animal might have been uncovered, the work wasn't finished at this point. The specialists actually had a lot to find out about the Tiknava, his way of life, diet, and conduct. Before sufficiently long, one of these monster snake skulls was found at the coal mine shaft, bearing the cost of the group's greater chance to gain proficiency with the privileged insights of this extraordinary monster. The monster reptile's place at the head of the pecking order implied it could target bigger prey, so specialists trust that alongside fish, this fearsome snake would have devoured turtles and crocodiles. To that really captivating animal, the disclosure of the Tiknava has roused further investigation into a biological system that is in excess of 60 million years of age. One more charming disclosure that was made at the Ceredigion coal mineshaft was an ancient crocodile burrowed down through corsages. Subsequently, a few animals, for example, crocodiles, adjusted and made do, while others were lost to the set of experiences books. It was a space rock the genuine reason for the elimination of the dinosaurs. Robert De Palma can't help disagreeing. Subsequent to getting a tip from a confidential fossil gatherer, De Palma and his group started exhuming the site along the notable Damnation rivulet arrangement. They at first De Palma felt the site named Tanis had little commitment, something that authority had made him aware of preceding the unearthing. De Palma found a large group of uncommon and strange fossils, including those of species he professed to have never seen. This puzzled De Palma and his group, for it was absolutely impossible that this animal might have existed in the new waters of ancient North Dakota. Could the tektite pieces found in the Tanis store have been dispersed here by the space rock that cleared out the dinosaurs? The broadly held conviction that a space rock influence caused the Cretaceous Paleogene termination occasion is basically founded on the presence of the KT layer. This 66 million-year-old band of Earth extends over almost the whole globe and contains an elevated degree of iridium, a component essentially tracked down in space rocks. This hypothesis is likewise upheld by the Chicxulub pit, a 112-mile impression in the Yucatan landmass that contains a similar mineral cosmetics as the KT layer. Consequently, most researchers accept that the space rock that made this cavity dispersed the iridium flotsam and jetsam that eventually cleared out the dinosaurs. All things considered, it was during this time that essentially all life on Earth went terminated. Be that as it may, this really isn't correct in any way. Scarcely any fossils had at any point been tracked down in this layer of rock. As a matter of fact, most fossils are found around 10 feet underneath the KT layer, which geographically talking would add up to 1,000s of years between the passing of these animals and the game-changing space rock influence. Defenders of this substitute hypothesis really do in any case accept that a space rock influence polished off the remainder of these ancient animals. However, they suggest that elements like enormous scope volcanic action and environmental change had proactively cleared out the greater part of the dinosaurs by this point. Anxious to impart his disclosure to the world, De Palma plumped down with the New Yorker to share the selective subtleties of his notable find. In any case, when the story broke in April 2019, the fossil science local area became shocked. A considerable lot of De Palma's partners were disturbed that the scientist had decided to impart his story to the New Yorker rather than a legitimate logical diary. De Palma later distributed his revelation and procedures of the Public Foundation of Sciences. However, many felt this record was altogether less nitty-gritty than his New Yorker piece. Indeed, even preceding this nonetheless, De Palma was viewed as by some to be a dubious figure in the realm of fossil science. He likewise apparently subsidizes his fieldwork by making imitations of his finds and offering them to private gatherers, yet the most bizarre inconsistency of all might be expected Palma's record of the actual disclosure. While the scientist and his group had made claims about the enormous number of dinosaur fossils uncovered close to the outer layer of the Tanis store, his article in PNAS just notices one model and a valuable report, that at this point, extra papers on Tanis are being arranged that will ideally clear up the disarray encompassing certificates find. Thanks for watching. If you don't want to miss out on any of our upcoming videos, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. It's the best way to stay in the loop.